On this episode of Right Now with CVD, we meet Maria, a 20-year-old living with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. After a year of chemo and hair loss, her doctors have now decided to try immunotherapy. Maria sits down with me in a very candid interview to discuss her personal demons with self-love and acceptance. You did the chemo, you did everything that you were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. The cancer came back, it progressed, it's now in your lungs. So how are you handling all of that?
It's really hard. I'm not going to lie. It's really one of the hardest things that I've ever had to go through. And I would never want anyone to ever go through something like this, especially at a young age. Mm-hmm. But I try to stay as positive as I can. Really, that's only the thing that you could do, is just stay positive and keep your mental health really in check, is what I try to do the most.
And so how did this all start? You were mentioning to me, we had a really cool conversation not too long ago. You were talking about how this started off with a rash on your skin.
Yeah, so it started with, I had like little, my legs and my arms were really itchy. Mm-hmm. So I'd be scratching them to the point where I would make myself bleed pretty much. And I didn't understand why I would have like these big plaques on my arms, on my legs, all over pretty much my whole body. We went to go see so many dermatologists,
What were they saying?
Doctors. They were just saying it was eczema.
So you're going to your doctor, you're trusting the doctor's advice. They're saying, you know what, it's eczema, but you knew something was wrong.
So I knew something was off because I was also wheezing during that time too. I was wheezing whenever I would breathe.
Did you think it was perhaps allergies?
I thought it was just like a bronchitis or a pneumonia, something like, something minor that could be fixed really easily. So I didn't really pay much attention to it. I just kind of slipped my mind and I didn't really pay attention to the wheezing. But the rash, really, I saw many dermatologists. They gave me creams, medications, because they thought it was really eczema.
What were your parents saying through all of this? Were they thinking, yeah, it's probably eczema? Nobody's thinking anything serious at this point.
Yeah, no one's really thinking anything serious. The most that we were thinking was eczema, until we got the thought that it could be a skin lymphoma from one of the dermatologists.
So skin lymphoma, we're talking about skin cancer?
Yeah, skin cancer.
Okay, and so then what brought the diagnosis of Hodgkin's?
So I had gone in May of 2018 for an appointment with my doctor just to see what the wheezing was for. She told me to go get an x-ray and I never really went. So then in September, the wheezing got worse and the rash wasn't going away. So we went to a dermatologist at the Jewish. And that's where he said about the skin lymphoma. And then I also got x-rays in the meantime. And then they saw that I had masses in my lungs and in my lymph nodes in my neck.
So walk me through that diagnosis. Were you with your parents? Were you alone? Did they tell you on your own? What was it like to hear that?
I was with my mom's cousin at the time. But it was just to hear what was going on. My mom had asked her to come with me because she worked there. So my mom had asked her to come with me. Just to keep me company so that I wasn't alone, let's say, but I really didn't think it was anything major, the results. So yeah, it was a shock. It was,
Did you feel like your world came crashing in?
I don't even remember pretty much what happened. It was kind of like a blur. It's kind of a blur to me. I don't remember what she said to me. I just remember that she said that it's not good. And then I remember crying, and just, it was all a blur from there.
So the chemotherapy is not working.
No.
They're actually telling you that they don't want to give you chemo anymore. So what's your next option? What are you guys doing now?
Right now we're doing immunotherapy.
And what is that?
It's almost like chemo, but it doesn't have the same effects. It doesn't have the same side effects. And it kind of wakes up your immune system to fight off the bad cancer cells. So that's pretty much what we're doing now to try and see if it'll work better than chemo or...
Are the doctors optimistic? Are you?
I'm trying to be as optimistic as I can. The doctors are optimistic, pretty like reassuring, telling me that it'll be okay, but they still have to give me the facts and like the reality of things.
So what is the reality of things? What are they telling you? Is there anything that they're saying that makes you, oh my gosh, this is a reality? I'm 20 years old. I have my whole life to live. What's the reality? What's the success rate for this?
Well, in the beginning, the success rate was about 80 to 90%.
That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, but that's with chemo. So as you try more different chemos, the success rate
goes down.
Yeah, diminishes, exactly. So
now that you're on immunotherapy.
Yeah, it goes back up once you change medications to like chemotherapy to immunotherapy. So it's a higher rate now, but as like time goes on, it obviously diminishes over time.
Okay, so it's so important to have a positive outlook when you're thinking about cancer and
Yeah,
and and
definitely.
and I know you're young, but I know you're going through some dark times, which you've talked to me about. So what is it that you worry about? What keeps you up at night? What makes you cry?
Dying, pretty much. That's one of my biggest worries. I'm sorry if I'm
It's
crying.
okay.
But it's one of my biggest worries. I don't want to die.
I know.
So it's really hard. You know, I think about it all the time. I try not to think about it. I try to be as happy as I can, you know, for my parents.
What about your friends?
My friends too, like they try to support me as much as they can, but I'm a very private person.
Do they know you're going through all of this? Have you shared everything?
To a certain extent. I don't like to say everything that's going on with me either. I'm a very private person, and this to me is extremely private. So my friends know, definitely my close friends, all my family knows, but it's not something I like to share with people because it kind of makes me feel a little embarrassed. I don't know why.
What are you embarrassed about?
Just judgment of other people.
But it's beyond your control. We're talking about illness here.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just afraid of being judged or being, like, people feeling bad for me. That's not
Do you think it's more of an issue of what you look like? Is that why?
Definitely. I mean, I wear a wig, so that messes with my confidence a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I lost my hair, that was really dramatic for me. It was really life-changing. Like, I found myself so ugly. Even now, I find myself so ugly.
It hurts my heart to hear you say that, you know, as a mom, and I can't even imagine what your parents are going through to hear that you think you're ugly. I don't think you're ugly at all. I think you're a beautiful girl, and you have to remain positive. And I know it's difficult to be going through what you're going through right now. You know, I don't know what it's like to go and to have cancer and to have that thought in my head that I could perhaps die. And I'm watching you here, and my heart is breaking for you because I can't even begin to imagine. And you're so young. You know, how has your relationship changed with your family, your loved ones? Is everybody just kind of supportive, rallying behind you?
Everyone is so supportive. My family is so supportive. My friends are so supportive. They try to make me as happy as I can and live pretty much my best life as I can because I don't know how long I'll have left here. So
you're thriving. So you're going to have quite a bit of time.
I mean, I'm still in school. I'm still working.
You're working?
Yeah, I'm working. I'm in school. So I'm trying to live as normal as I can.
And you have a boyfriend.
And I have a boyfriend.
And you're happy about that.
And I'm happy, yeah.
So what's that support like? Because it's making you smile through the tears.
Yeah.
So tell me about your boyfriend and how is he getting you through all of this?
He just makes me so happy, makes me laugh so much. He brings me so much happiness, really. Like, he's so supportive of me. Anything that I'm going through, any treatments that I'm going to, he'll come. And that's important to you. Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
So what's really interesting is how we met. We met at the salon, and I have a big mouth, and so I saw you walk in, and you were with your mother, and I remember you sitting down in the chair, and I was like, oh, she's getting fitted for a wig, and I was like, that's interesting. And then you took off the other hair that you had on, and I saw that you were bald.
Yeah.
And my curiosity got the best of me, and I went up to you and I said, excuse me, I wanted to ask you, I was like, you know, why do you wear wigs? And I thought maybe you just had simple hair loss. And then you started talking to me, and just in talking to me, you started crying, and then we formed a bond, and then next thing you know, we're on the phone talking to each other. And I just wanted to share your story because I thought it was so important to be so young, going through cancer. You felt so alone. There was a lot of hurt there. You didn't know who I was, and you felt comfortable enough to be like, you know what, I'm not in a good place. I'm sad, I'm crying. But at the same time, I want to go back to what you just said a moment ago. You talk a lot about, I don't like what I look like. I don't like the way I look. That was one of the issues for you when I met you. And you also mentioned that what was more devastating than the diagnosis itself was losing your hair.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so take me through that. What was that like for you?
Well, I found that, you know, there was a lot of support for older women losing their hair, or there was a lot of support for younger children that have cancer, not just in losing their hair, but in general, there's more support.
When you say support, like funding?
Funding, and also like just more word of the mouth. Like, there's more stories of children having cancer, like younger children, or older adult between 30, 40s, 50s. There's nothing really that I've ever heard of having cancer when in your 20s. Like that's something that's really uncommon. I've never heard of it personally. So
because we're so conditioned to know about breast cancer, children's cancers. So you're saying more like young adults.
Yeah, exactly.
Young adults, okay.
Exactly. So when I lost my hair, I felt like I didn't know where to turn to or what to do. There wasn't not anywhere that I could look to see if there were any resources to get wigs or something. But I don't know, I felt just alone because I hadn't really heard anything about it. You know, I never heard anything about this cancer or anything about young adults having cancer. So
there's a lot of work that you had to do. And then when you're out there, you feel there's no resources for young adults for the type of cancer that you have. Okay.
Yeah. And going back to the fact that I felt really just ugly without hair. I felt, you know, not like a woman. I didn't feel like I was womanly enough. I felt.
So today you're wearing a wig. Do you mind if I ask you to take it off? I just want to see what you look like without it.
Right now?
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, you have such a pretty head.
Yeah, it's grown
and the
back.
hair grew back. Okay, because when I met you, you had no hair. Come here.
It's grown back.
It's so soft.
It just started in November growing back. So
it looks good.
Bit,
I actually like you with the pixie cut. And you don't want to go out like this.
I've never gone out with my hair like this.
Ever. And now everybody's seeing you with your hair like this.
Me like this.
So there's one thing I want you to do. We're going to do an exercise, okay? Because you are leaving here and you're going to be comfortable with the way you look, okay? So I want you to take this mirror. Okay. Be real honest. You already don't like what you see.
I don't at all.
Okay, so look at yourself in the mirror. Don't look at me. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell me what you see.
I look like a boy, I feel.
You don't look like a boy.
I look a little cute.
You do look cute. Yeah. What do you see? Look at yourself and tell me what you see.
I see a hurt girl, honestly. It's really sad.
A lot of pain.
A lot of pain.
And that's all associated with your cancer and your loss of hair. Do you feel you're no longer a woman?
Definitely.
Why? Just because of the hair? You have that attachment to it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to both do this, okay?
Oh my God.
Okay? I'm doing it too. Okay, listen. I want you to look at me. Okay? I just took off my wig. Okay? I want you to look at me in my face. You are not defined by the hair on your head, okay? I wear wigs as an accessory. You're gonna make me cry, okay? The fact that you look at yourself in the mirror and you think you're ugly is a problem. There are a lot of other children, a lot of young women who have cancer and they think that their identity is defined by their hair. It's not. You are beautiful without it. I look cute without my hair. And that confidence has to come from within. There's no way that I'm letting you leave here thinking that you are ugly because you don't have long hair. Because that's not how it works. So look at the mirror again. I don't care if you bullshit, but tell yourself you're beautiful.
I am beautiful.
Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself you are beautiful.
You're beautiful.
Yes.
With or without a wig.
With or without a wig. And what about me?
The same. We're both beautiful.
No, but do you understand?
Yeah, definitely.
This is like this right here. This is just, it's an accessory. Okay, everything else, everything that is Maria has nothing to do with the hair on your head. And you have hair.
Yeah.
You look beautiful.
Thank you.
So what is the message that you want to give to young kids or young adults that are going through what you're going through right now?
Really just to stay positive. That's really the only advice I could give, is just stay positive, have a healthy mindset, and just keep away any bad energy. Just live your life to the fullest, and because you don't know when your last day is going to be.
You don't.
Definitely not.
You don't.
No.
And it might not even be this illness that takes you.
Exactly.
So you have to live your life to the fullest.
Exactly.
Well, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you. And you're beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Don't ever say to anybody, especially yourself, that you are ugly without hair. Do you understand? You're beautiful. You're beautiful. You really are.